the Million-Peso Championship. A full grandstand watches the horses round the final turn. From the starting gates, the big black stallion Tormenta explodes forward and seizes the lead. His glossy black coat flashes past the stands, number 7 pulling away with brutal ease. By the final furlong, he is 3 lengths clear, the favorite, the unbeatable, the champion. Then, without signal, without warning, Tormenta slows. 2 horses surge past him.
This isn't possible. He's never pulled like this. Never.
Tormenta locks his legs and crashes through the outer rail, splinters exploding into the afternoon air.
He threw me on purpose. He threw me soft.
The black stallion gallops west, away from the track, away from the race, into open country. A champion has just thrown $1,000,000 away. No one knows why. No one knows where he is going. 6 hours before the champion threw the race, his trainer Gary Turner pulls himself upright in the dark. The pain in his chest feels wrong, deep wrong.
Got to get to the barn. Tormenta doesn't miss a morning.
He forces his boots on, grabs the sack of carrots, and pushes through the pain toward the stable. Inside, Tormenta nickers, shifting in his stall, ears pricked for the familiar greeting.
Stay upright. Just reach the stall. He's listening for you.
Gary fumbles with the key. The lock turns, but his body doesn't. He slides down the door frame, hitting the floor hard. On the other side of the wall, Tormenta hears the thud. He paws the ground, ears rigid.
Can't call out. Can't move. Not like this. Not today.
The carrot bucket sits untouched. The 5 a.m. ritual, unbroken for 9 years, will not happen this morning. And in the locked stable, Gary lies alone, conscious, his heart failing, and no one knows. By morning, ranch owner Martin Aldridge pulls up to Gary's stable. The truck door slams. No sign of the old man.
Gary, you in there?
The door is locked. Aldridge tries the handle, then peers through the gap. He sees nothing. Not the old man crumpled just inside.
Maybe he's already at the track. Old fool probably hitched a ride.
He calls a substitute groom. Minutes later, a handler arrives, and they force open the main stable. Tormenta is led out, snorting head high, resisting the unfamiliar hands.
Easy, big fella. Race day. You are the favorite, remember?
The horse balks at the trailer ramp, ears pinned, eyes wild. But the groom shoves from behind and Tormenta clatters inside. The trailer door latches. Tormenta's panicked eye fills the small window, but no one sees it. The truck pulls away, dust rising. Inside the locked stable, Gary's shallow breath is the only sound. At the racetrack, the saddling paddock hums with handlers and nervous energy. Tormenta stands rigid as the groom straps on number 7.
You are wound tighter than a gate spring, big man. What's got into you?
Diego settles into the saddle, and the horse's muscles quiver like steel cables under his legs.
He's never like this. Something's off.
They enter the starting gate, Tormenta loading with a half rear that draws a murmur from the crowd. The gates crash open. Tormenta breaks like a black lightning bolt, seizing the lead before the first turn. He's in front, but there's no joy in his stride, no ears flicking back for the whip, no playful toss of the head.
He's running, but he's not here. He's somewhere else.
The crowd roars as the favorite rounds the backstretch, but Diego feels the horse drifting, not physically, but deep in his attention. The final turn approaches. The champion is still leading, but his mind is 6 miles away. In the final furlong, Tormenta's stride shortens like the air has thickened. His ears pin flat against his skull.
No, push, Tormenta. Push. We're losing it.
2 rival horses swallow the gap in 3 strides and tear past. The grandstand erupts in a wave of confusion.
He's not fighting. He's choosing. He's choosing something else.
Tormenta cuts hard right, straight for the outer rail. The wood splinters before Diego can scream. Diego tumbles into the deep cushion of dirt along the rail. He's on his back, gasping but unhurt. The black stallion doesn't slow. He accelerates past the track perimeter and into open country, a straight line to the west. Officials in the tower stare at monitor screens, mouths open. They've never seen a horse throw a race to run into nowhere. Tormenta becomes a black silhouette against the afternoon light, running with the urgent rhythm of a secret only he understands. 1,000,000 pesos vanish with the dust cloud, and no one at the track knows that a dying man is listening for hoofbeats. In the official's tower, Martin Aldridge watches the replay loop. Tormenta veers off the rail again and again.
I felt his whole body shift. He wasn't in the race anymore. He was already going somewhere. He was already going somewhere.
A track official suggests a slipped saddle, a sharp stone, a hidden injury. Diego shakes his head hard.
This isn't equipment. This isn't pain. I've bred horses my whole life. That animal made a decision.
Outside, across open country, Tormenta gallops with the same unbroken rhythm. He clears a low fence without slowing. Lather streaks his black chest. His nostrils flare wide, pulling in the dry air, but his stride never shortens. He crosses a narrow dirt road in 2 strides. A pickup swerves, horn blaring, but Tormenta is already past. 6 miles as the crow flies. And his path is as straight as a drawn line. No deviation, no hesitation. At the track, Aldridge stares at his phone. Gary never arrived. Gary didn't answer. Gary is never late. The favorite did exactly what he meant to do. But for now, the Y remains a wall of silence. Mile after mile, the black shape hurtles across scrubland. A barbed wire fence looms. He clears it with inches to spare. Sweat foams white on his neck. His breathing is a bellows now, but his pace holds steady. In the locked stable, the light has shifted. Gary's eyes open for a moment, then slide closed again.
Stay awake. He'll come. He always comes.
Tormenta's hooves pound the hard-packed dirt road, his shadow stretching long behind him. From a low ridge, the stable roof comes into view. A piercing whinny tears from his throat. Inside the stable, Gary's fingers curl weakly against the floor. A distant rhythm reaches him, hoofbeats.
That's him. That's Tormenta.
The stallion closes the last half-mile with the desperation of a creature who knows there is no time left. Gary's breath thins to a whisper. The door remains locked. The hoofbeats grow louder. Tormenta skids to a halt at the stable gate, chest heaving like a forge. He does not stop at the main door. He moves straight to the side door, the worn wooden bolt he knows better than any starting gate. The stallion dips his head, bares his teeth, and closes his jaws around the bolt handle with unsettling precision. 9 years earlier, a foal's muzzle, an old man's gentle hand, and a carrot dangling just beyond the latch. The bolt groans and slides free. Tormenta steps back, and the door swings inward on its own weight. Inside, Gary's eyes crack open at the rasp of wood. The horse is here.
He remembered. The bolt trick. He remembered.
Tormenta thrusts his head through the gap, velvet muzzle finding Gary's shoulder with a gentle, urgent nudge. A low, rumbling nicker vibrates deep in the stallion's chest, a sound Gary hasn't heard since Tormenta was a foal. The door is open, the horse is with him, but Gary's lips can only form a whisper none will hear. Hector Villanueva hears the stallion's cry and knows something is wrong. He crosses the field and yanks open the stable door.
Dios mío, Gary, what happened? Tormenta, you came home?
Hector drops to his knees, fingers already dialing emergency services. The dispatcher hears a trembling voice.
There's an old man, heart attack, I think. He's barely breathing. Please hurry.
Within minutes, a paramedic unit bumps down the dirt road, lights flashing. They find a weak pulse and work fast. IV, oxygen, gentle hands lifting Gary onto the stretcher. His eyes flicker, but don't open.
Stay with him.
Tormenta stands at the stable door, head low, watching every move with dark, intelligent eyes. As the ambulance doors close, the stallion lets out a long, hollow whinny that carries across the empty field. Gary is alive for now. The horse who threw a 1,000,000-peso race stands alone, waiting for the man who taught him to never give up. In the ICU, Gary lies motionless amid a nest of tubes and wires. The heart monitor paints jagged green lines. At the stable, Tormenta hasn't moved from the doorway. He refuses hay and water, watching the empty dirt road.
Aldridge, it's Hector. Gary, heart attack, God, and the horse, Tormenta. He's right here. He came back.
At the track, Aldridge's face drains of color. He lowers the phone and stares at the empty track.
The horse went home. 6 miles. Gary collapsed this morning. Tormenta knew.
Diego sinks onto a bench, helmet still in his hands. The jockey who was thrown is silent.
He threw me soft. He threw me so he could run, not to hurt, to save.
Miles away, the black stallion stands sentinel. His ears flick at every distant engine, every bird call that sounds like a siren. In the ICU, Gary's hand twitches. The cardiac monitor steadies, but has not yet delivered a promise. The story hasn't hit papers yet. But from the track to the stable, one truth is already clear. The horse did not run away from something. He ran toward someone. By dawn, the phone chain reaches Dr. Elena Castilla. She drives to the stable with a quiet urgency and a digital recorder.
I've seen stress responses, but nothing like this. Tell me everything, starting with what was different that morning.
The carrots, Doctora. Every single morning at 5, no matter what, Gary carried carrots to that stall. Today, the bucket was dry.
9 years, he said. 9 years of carrots and quiet words at dawn. That's not a habit, that's a language.
She runs her palm over Tormenta's dried sweat, then looks into the dark eye that still watches the road.
He didn't buck or panic. He eased me off like a father settling a child. That stallion knew exactly what he was doing.
I've been around horses 40 years, and I've never seen one open a door with his teeth. Gary taught him that trick as a foal.
Elena visualizes the morning. No greeting, no ritual, a door that wouldn't open, and a stallion who had once been taught to open it.
The broken routine signified danger. He didn't just miss the carrots. He interpreted their absence as a threat to Gary.
It's the most compelling behavioral hypothesis she's ever formed. But it remains a theory until the man who knows the truth can speak. 2 days pass. Gary Turner's eyes open. The first word he whispers is a name.
I am Dr. Castillo, Mr. Turner. I am studying what your horse did. Can you tell me about your mornings?
Every day, 5 o'clock, carrots and talk. He'd wait for me.
Even with the oxygen mask, his voice carries the rhythm of a 9-year promise.
The bolt. I taught him that when he was a colt. A game. But he never forgot.
Mr. Turner, if the carrots didn't come, would he notice? Would he worry?
That morning, I had the sack. I never made it to the stall. He'd know something was wrong.
Elena writes faster than she's ever written, the pen barely keeping up with the implications.
This wasn't just panic. It was a series of deliberate steps rooted in years of routine. He knew Gary was in danger.
Gary's hand trembles. The heart monitor ticks, and a theory that could change animal science forever now waits for the world to catch up. A week after opening his eyes, Gary is discharged into Hector's care. They drive in silence toward the ranch.
Look, compadre, not a day went by. He didn't wait right there.
As the truck crests the last rise, Tormenta's head snaps up. A piercing whinny cracks the morning stillness. The stallion lunges across the paddock, mane and tail streaming, and heaves his chest against the fence. Gary pushes the truck door before the wheels stop, legs trembling but fixed on the black shape. He stumbles to the fence and throws both arms around the stallion's neck, his sobs lost in the dark mane.
I knew you'd come. I knew it.
Hector stands back, a hand pressed to his chest. The few neighbors who gathered remain silent,
Not a dry eye in the county.
and for a long moment, the world outside that fence, the race, the money, the cameras, ceases to exist. 3 days after Gary's return, Aldridge holds a press conference. The same stands where the crowd gasped now witness a different announcement.
Tormenta has earned his rest. He is retired from racing, permanently.
A murmur ripples, but Aldridge's voice leaves no room for argument. At the ranch, Tormenta grazes in the paddock, a dark bay foal with a white star. His son stands close. Gary leans on the fence, the carrot bucket full. Tormenta's ears flick at the familiar scent.
You see that, old friend? That's your bloodline. Your heart in a new pair of legs.
For 2 years, Gary trains the colt they call Relampago. Every dawn, carrots come for 2 horses. The old ranch hums with promise. Tormenta watches from his spot under the oak. Gary's hands, once trembling, are steady on the line. The young colt circles with fire. The racetrack still whispers about the champion who threw it all away. But here, a new champion is built, 1 carrot at a time. Relampago makes his debut at 2, and the first thing the clockers whisper is Tormenta's boy runs like a storm. 4 starts, 4 wins, the last by 10 lengths against older horses. By midsummer, he's the top qualifier for the Triple Crown, the first horse from this region in decades.
The Triple Crown. No horse like us, no old man like me has ever touched it.
The press descends. The horse who sacrificed a race is now the father of a rising legend. The first Triple Crown race bursts from the gate, and Relampago goes straight to the lead. He wins by a neck, his white star flashing past the wire.
1 down, 2 to go.
The final race will be at the same track where Tormenta once threw 1,000,000 pesos away. The racing world holds its breath. The circle is closing. The final race loads into the same gates. A ghost of number 7 hangs in the air. Relampago breaks mid-pack, biding his time. At the top of the stretch, he answers the call. The white star flashes, and he's clear by a length. The crowd becomes a single roar. He crosses the wire with ears up, running towards something none can see. In the winner's circle, Gary Turner holds the trophy. His hand trembles.
This is 9 years of carrots and 6 miles of heart.
He looks past the cameras, across the distance, to Tormenta grazing under the oak. The old man presses a hand to his chest, where the heart that nearly stopped now beats full.
He gave me a second chance. I just gave his son back what he threw away.
And the story whispered across the racing world becomes a roar. The sacrifice is repaid. 3 months after the Triple Crown, Dr. Elena Castillo's paper goes live. The title leaves no room for doubt. It describes a horse who deliberately forfeited a race, traveled 6 miles, opened a door, and summoned help.
The data confirms this was not instinct. This was a multi-step, situation-aware response rooted in a 9-year bond.
The study is cited in behavioral science journals worldwide. The Tormenta case becomes required reading.
They say he knew exactly what he was doing. I told them that from the start.
The Racing Commission issues a formal tribute. The date of the abandoned race becomes an annual day of remembrance.
I always believed he chose. Now the world agrees.
Photographs of the carrot bucket appear in textbooks. The ritual that saved a life becomes a case study in animal cognition.
This case will be taught for a century, and it started with a carrot.
Tormenta's name is entered into the Racing Hall of Fame, not for his wins, but for the race he chose to lose. Tormenta grows a gray muzzle and a slower gait, but the dawn still finds him under the oak, watching the road. Gary shuffles out each morning with 2 carrots, one for the living legend, one in memory of a day when there were none.
You don't have to wait anymore, old friend. I'll always be here at 5.
School children come on field trips to meet the horse who opened a door with his teeth. He stands patiently, as if he knows. Across the paddock, Relampago's own foals run, dark shapes against green. Tormenta's great-grandchildren. Gary sits on the old bench, a blanket over his knees, and watches. Tormenta lowers his head into Gary's hands.
We made it, you and me. Two old hearts that refused to quit.
Tormenta turns 31. The vet calls him a medical marvel. A heart that's strong doesn't come from oats alone. The carrot ritual never misses a morning. It's not about need anymore. It's about remembering what it means to be seen. The sun sets on the ranch, and two shadows. One a man, one a horse, stretch long and together across the grass. One winter morning, Gary carries the usual carrots to the oak. Tormenta lies beneath it, still as the frost. There is no nicker to greet him. The great heart has run its last race.
You never let me walk this road alone. And you didn't. This time either.
Hector and Aldridge come. They dig the grave together, under the same oak where Tormenta kept watch. Before the first shovel of dirt, Gary lays a single carrot on the dark soil. A photographer captures the moment. An old man's hand, a fresh grave, and the orange root that started it all.
That morning, I couldn't reach you. You reached for me. Now, rest.
The sun dips below the ranch, and Gary stands alone, his shadow long. The racing world dims its lights, but the story is just beginning to burn. Some 6 miles away, the track where a champion threw it all is quiet, and under the oak, a carrot waits for the dawn. In every racing stable, from apprentice grooms to Hall of Fame jockeys, one story is told at dawn. It goes, there was a stallion who threw 1,000,000 pesos to run 6 miles for a carrot and an old man.
They'll never know the half of it. He was more than a horse.
Gary Turner still rises at 5, his hands now creased with age. He trains the great-grandchildren of the horse who saved him. Visitors come from across continents to see the empty stall, the bolt still worn from his teeth. Gary keeps the bolt exactly as it was, unlocked, waiting. On the anniversary of the race, a fresh carrot appears on the grave before sunrise. No one knows who brings it. The racing world calls it the greatest race never won. And Tormenta's legend only deepens with each telling.
He's not gone. He's just waiting somewhere, watching the road.
And so the story is whispered, 6 miles and a lifetime long, of a champion who chose to lose and won everything. Gary is 93 now, his steps slow, but the carrot never misses his hand when dawn breaks.
Still here, old friend. Still 5 o'clock.
He sits on the old bench, the same bench where Tormenta once nuzzled his shoulder on cold mornings.
I can still feel your breath on my neck. Some mornings I swear I hear you.
A young caretaker watches from the stable door and doesn't interrupt. Everyone knows this is sacred time. Sometimes, he walks to the empty stall. The bolt, still unlocked, catches the light like a promise kept. His great-grandchildren ride Tormenta's bloodline in faraway stables, but here, it's still just the two of them. The secret the horse taught him is simple. Some bonds don't end with the last breath, they just change shape. And every morning, a fresh carrot waits on the grave until the day it doesn't. But that day is not yet, for now, an old man walks slowly to an oak tree, and the dawn belongs to the ones who remember. And when the morning light spills across the ranch, the descendants of Tormenta break into a gallop. Some run with the same fire, the same white star, the same dark urgency. Under the oak, the morning carrot softens in the sun, but its meaning never fades. The whisper is carried on the wind. Across the very path the stallion once galloped. It says, there is a horse who chose love over glory, and that choice still runs. And if you stand still at dawn, you might hear hoofbeats that never faded. The grave is never empty. The story is never finished. And over the ranch, the sun sets just as it rose that morning, golden, eternal, waiting. The stallion's story is not over. It is just beginning again. And somewhere 6 miles away, the racetrack is silent, but a faint thunder of hooves is already gathering.